The end of the first week in the securities fraud trial of ex-state Representative Pete Beck, we are left with an inside view of what prosecutors say is a highly fraudulent company. That company, Christopher Technologies, was allegedly used to swindle investors out of millions of dollars. And Pete Beck was the company's CFO, although his attorney is trying to paint a different picture for the judge. Local 12's Rich Jaffe broke the story and is following it daily. He's in the newsroom now with today's developments. Rich.
Paula, for a startup company, Christopher Technologies, or CTech, had staff, offices, investors, and it looked really good on paper. What it didn't have was sound management or really much of a product, but that did not keep promoters like Tom Lysett, CEO John Fussner, and yes, then state rep, CPA, and chief financial officer Pete Beck from selling CTech hard to people with money. The issue is, how much control and knowledge of the fraud did Beck have? One of the company founders says he had a lot. Pete Beck has spent a week listening to people pound on him, and it's only going to get worse as this 4-week trial proceeds. All of his ex-business partners will be on the stand eventually, just like Mark Woods, testifying against him. Woods, along with John Fussner, founded Christopher Technologies, or CTech. While the company briefly had a small version of a people tracking product, it quickly went belly up. Woods testified that while money came out of employee checks, it didn't go into 401k funds or taxes as believed. And Pete Beck was the company's chief financial officer.
Did he ever at any time tell you he was not really the CFO of CTech?
Not to my recollection.
Did he ever call himself an outside CFO?
Not to my recollection, no.
Beck's lead counsel has tried to convince Judge John Andrew West that Beck really wasn't the CFO of Christech, but rather some kind of contract financial advisor, although he had a company office, cell phone, business cards, and much more. Woods told the court that one of the biggest CTech selling tools used to lure investor dollars was a potential passenger tracking deal with Carnival Cruise Lines. The deal never materialized, and in fact, Woods explained today the company couldn't afford to bring it to fruition, but that didn't stop Beck and others from selling the project to investors. At times looking frustrated, lead defense attorney Ralph Conan couldn't seem to get any traction today with Woods under cross-examination, trying over and over again to shift the blame off of Pete Beck.
I can tell you categorically that he took on responsibilities as CFO. He took on the name of the CFO. He talked to people and presented himself as the CFO. And from my perspective, he was the CFO.
Now, things should really heat up in court next week as more of Beck's business partners show up to testify on the witness stand. CTech CEO John Fussner is one of them. On Tuesday, a guy named Chip DeMoy will be in court. He's the last of the co-conspirators to strike a deal in exchange for his testimony against Beck. Every one of them has done the same. DeMoy's going to plead to one count of selling securities without a license. In the newsroom, Rich Jaffe, Local 12 News. Paula?
Rich, of all of these consolidated charges against Pete Beck, I think there are, some 36. 39. Do they all surround CTech?
No, they also involve another company called TML, and we're going to hear more and more of that. The issue with TML, though, is that the guy who actually spearheaded all that, he's already dead. So he won't be called to testify in the course of this. But between that one and CTech, they are looking at Pete Beck for helping swindle the investors out of millions of dollars, and clearly he had, or at least they want to establish, that he had the financial control over those companies to do it.
All right, stay tuned and riveted for week 2. Thank you, Rich. And Beck's trial is scheduled to last for 3 more weeks, and Local 12 will have it covered for you.